This program is an AI-converted English version of Shota Imanaga's podcast, originally recorded in Japanese, using Shota Imanaga's voice.
Hello everyone, this is Shota Imanaga of the Chicago Cubs. Well, this is the first episode of Shota Imanaga's podcast. Since this is my first recording today, I'm really nervous, but I hope we can make this a fun radio show. On this program, I'd like to welcome this person as my sidekick, and we'll be bringing you the show together.
Hello there, I'm Ohizumi Kento, announcer for Nippon Broadcasting. Imanaga-san, thank you for having me today.
My pleasure.
And we're the same age.
Yeah, that's right.
I've been covering you in Japanese baseball for a long time. And we first met about 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, it's like when you came to the ballpark after we've gotten to know each other and we have all kinds of frank, open conversations, that sort of thing.
Do you remember when we first met?
At first it was like we had dinner together once through some mutual acquaintance or something.
So, as far as I remember, we probably had Japanese food together somewhere around Roppongi, and that's probably where we first met.
Right. Oizumi-san went to Rikkyo University, I went to Komazawa University, and the mutual friend who introduced us was on the baseball team at Tokyo University. He was the same age as us too.
Since then, we'd always been really close. Through that connection, I was given this opportunity to co-host this show today.
Likewise, thank you for joining this show.
Thank you very much. Imanaga-san, you're here in the radio studio now, but have you had opportunities to speak on podcasts or radio shows like this before?
No, this is my first time, but I absolutely love listening to radio. Well, I listen to talk shows a lot, and I also listen to comedians' radio shows. With radio, you're making people laugh who you can't see in front of you, and some people are just listening casually while doing other things. It really tests your sense, you know. It's all about how you can make the listeners feel happy or something like that, I think. I find that really deep somehow, so I'm really looking forward to today.
That's exactly it. Listeners use their imagination, thinking about all sorts of things with just the information coming through their ears.
Yeah, that's right. But I think the best thing is that when we're really having fun here, the audience will probably laugh a lot too. So I think it would be great if we could just enjoy ourselves here first. So I hope we can really bring that energy to the radio show today.
Now, Nippon Broadcasting's baseball broadcast program, Show Up Naita, will celebrate its 60th anniversary in 2026. To commemorate this milestone, we're launching Shota Imanaga's SHOTAISM in 9 innings, a program that delves deep into the philosophy and mindset of MLB pitcher Shota Imanaga. We hope that by listening to SHOTAISM, those of you who are currently facing uncertainty about something will find the inspiration to take that next step forward. As the title suggests, this will be delivered over 9 innings, a total of 9 episodes, with each inning covering a different theme. So without further ado, could you please share the theme for the first inning?
Why did I decide to take on the challenge of Major League Baseball?
So pitcher Imanaga was born in 1993. You're now 32 years old. You joined the Yokohama Bay Stars as their first-round draft pick in 2015. Over 8 years with the team, you won 64 games. In your final year, that is 2023, you also won the strikeout title. And this past offseason, you announced your intention to challenge Major League Baseball through the posting system. Well, so it was exactly 2 years ago that you announced this Major League challenge. But looking back, what were the reasons that made you want to take on this MLB challenge?
Well, there are really several things to talk about. But first, I need to start when I first set my sights on Major League Baseball. It really became concrete in 2022. I mean, just 1 year ago, 1 year before I was allowed to post. Until then, honestly, I really didn't have confidence in myself. And it all started with wondering if I could really make it there. But while I didn't have much confidence in myself, the people around me who supported me had incredible confidence in me. Everyone kept encouraging me, saying, "Imanaga, you can do it." And from there, my confidence gradually built up, and I started thinking, maybe I really could make it. But then I realized this wasn't just my dream alone, you know? Then 2023 came, and I really did make it. So that's how it was.
Was that 2022 year period also driven by wanting to grow more in the technical aspects and your desire to develop further as a professional baseball player?
Right, so if that was the first reason I mentioned earlier, then the second reason is when I looked back on my life up to that point, I wondered whether I had ever really challenged myself at anything. looking back at both my baseball career and my regular 30 years of life, I asked myself if there was ever a time when I had truly given my all to challenge something, and honestly, nothing really came to mind. Part of it was my personality. I was always worried about what other people thought, and I guess other people's opinions of me had become, how should I put it, my own opinion of myself. I really didn't believe in myself and was constantly concerned about what others around me were thinking. To change that kind of mindset, I knew that if I announced I was going to challenge myself in the majors through the posting system, there would definitely be noise from people around me, right? Like, can you really make it? Or what do you think you're doing? That kind of thing. And honestly, there was a part of me that didn't want to hear any of that. But I realized I had to overcome those voices. So the year before, I said, oh no, I want to challenge Major League from next year onward. And spent 2023 year under that pressure. So I think those reasons led to me to Major League Challenge.
Speaking of that, I think that period from 2022 to 2023 was, in a sense, a turning point in your life. And I'm sure our listeners have experienced various turning points in their own lives too. Things like marriage, having children, or for working people, changing jobs or relocations. And for students, entrance exams, starting school, graduation. There are all sorts of moments like that. So Imanaga-san, what do you think are the key moments that change the way you live your life?
Timing-wise, I think taking on the challenge of coming to America was probably the biggest turning point in my life. And having lived in America for 2 years now, I've realized that if you don't express yourself and voice your opinions, your voice can really get drowned out, even within the team. And I feel like I've gotten better at being able to say, this is what I think, so please let me do it this way. It wasn't just about baseball, though, like just going shopping normally. Or buying coffee at a cafe. And even though I was a bit scared to speak English there, I'd think, maybe I'll try some small talk with the store clerk, or maybe I'll chat a bit with that elderly couple sitting next to me. I think becoming that open-minded, that's something I probably never would have discovered about myself if I hadn't gone to America. Like realizing, oh, I can actually do this kind of thing too. I was really happy to meet this new side of myself, and I hope I can keep discovering more and more different sides of who I am going forward.
I think there are quite a lot of people who just can't take that first step. So how do you think someone could work up the courage to take that first step?
Well, there's this saying I really like. In life, losses don't come twice in a row. What I mean is, let's say you challenged yourself to make it to the major leagues. You tried talking to a cafe worker. You attempted to greet people on the street. I think that just by taking on these challenges, you've already essentially won. So even if things don't work out in that moment, even if you have terrible stats in the major leagues, even if foreigners ignore you, since you challenged yourself and gave it a shot, you've already got one win under your belt. So even if it doesn't work out, you're only at one win, one loss. That's why I think it's important to challenge yourself with anything and everything. And even if you can't actually take on the challenge, just having the intention to challenge yourself. That step from 0 to 1 is incredibly important. So there's really no need to be too afraid. Especially being here in America, I realize that nobody's really paying attention to what you're doing anyway. Whether I walk around outside in a tank top or... Nobody's like, that fashion looks weird or anything. And of course, there might be times like that, but that's the mindset I have right now. So as long as I'm living within the bounds of not causing trouble for others, I really want to keep taking on more and more challenges.
So watching you, I can really see how Imanaga's outlook on life has changed. Or rather evolved between your time in Japan and now in America. And I can tell you have grown as a person too. Sorry, but that's just what I see with my own eyes.
Yeah, that's right. But really, first of all, I think I've changed so much myself. I've become incredibly family-oriented. And even though there's a time difference between America and Japan, I call my mom all the time now, which I never really used to do. I keep in touch with her constantly. We have 2 dogs back at my family home, and my mom takes care of them, so I check if everything's okay and all that. When I go back, I don't even go straight to my own place to relax. I go to my family home first. I really realized how amazing mothers are, how truly precious family is. I really understood how important they are after going to America.
It's only when you step away and go somewhere different from your usual routine that you really start to understand certain things for the first time.
Right. And in America, there are times when you have to prepare your own meals, whereas in Japan, they really take care of everything for you. But in America, it's more like you're on your own for the rest. Now, so there's food at the ballpark, but then it's like you just grab whatever you want. For example, sometimes there's Japanese food available and sometimes there isn't. So I'll make my own rice balls and things like that. And when I'm doing that, when I'm washing dishes and stuff, I think about how my mom was doing all this while also doing housework, working, walking the dog, doing all sorts of things. And I realize how amazing she really is. I only came to understand that after going to America. If I hadn't gone, I don't think I would have figured that out if I had just stayed in Japan.
Yes, that's right. I really think America is such a harsh environment, and at the same time, I think it's a place with enormous influence. Imanaga-san, you're living your dream right now, playing across the ocean in America. But you know how adults often tell kids have dreams, you should have some kind of dream. What are your thoughts on dreams?
Well, I think ever since we were kids, when we're doing something we really love, everyone loses track of time. You know, for me, like when I'm training at the gym or when I'm looking at opponent data, I really enjoy it and I end up losing track of time doing those things. So I'd want people to first find something like that for themselves. And if there are parents out there who want their children to have dreams, I don't want it to become about imposing their own dreams on their kids. I think what's important is figuring out what the child wants to do first and what they're interested in. There's also that saying that effort can't beat passion. And I really think it's incredibly important to passionately search for something.
So, as I just mentioned, rather than forcing them and saying, you have to do this, it's really important to create an environment where children naturally want to make an effort on their own, you know. It really is.
That's right. You know, when I'm at baseball clinics explaining things to kids, I always tell them, you guys can instantly memorize Pokemon names, lyrics from your favorite anime songs, or song lyrics in general, right?
That's right.
And even with genres you're not familiar with, you end up discovering all sorts of things like, oh, so this kind of stuff exists too, you know? I think the reason for that is probably not because you're trying to memorize Pokemon names or Pikachu's move names or anything like that, but because you love it, you just naturally remember everything without even trying. I think that's probably the ultimate way to learn, and I don't think anything can really beat that approach.
So, we're coming to the end here, and as the title of our show suggests, I'd like to get a final word from you. Your Shota-ism, if you would. In this conversation we've had, Imanaga-san, now that you've had a chance to speak, what would be your one key takeaway for today? It can be anything at all. You can give us one punchy line or maybe just a phrase or expression, whatever feels right to you.
Got it.
Yes, please go ahead.
This time's Shota-ism. In life, losses don't come twice in a row.
We received a message from one of our listeners. This comes from someone with the radio name Tomato Pasta. I often feel that Shota Imanaga's philosophy, such as the idea that a life is good as long as it ends well, is incredibly insightful and helpful for living. How did you develop this way of thinking? That's the question we received.
Rather than saying I've mastered it, it's more like I get information from TV or stuff I look up myself, or sometimes I discover these kinds of expressions on social media. So I actually jot down those words on my phone. I make notes of things I think are good, and sometimes I don't even look back at them, but I figure it's good if they just pop into my head when I need them, you know.
That's exactly how it is in life, isn't it? Picture Imanaga keeps adding one more thing, then another to his repertoire. Your way of thinking must be getting deeper and deeper too, don't you think?
That's right. When you only rely on your own information, it can inevitably become biased. So I take in various sources of information. And while sometimes I do accept things at face value, what I really love is interpreting that information in my own way, arranging it in my own style, and coloring it with my own perspective. So I listen to different people's ways of thinking, and even when I might have a similar viewpoint, I'll try changing the interpretation slightly, you know? That's how I approach things.
I think a lot of people find it quite difficult to pick and choose, you know? With all these different opinions out there, I think there are people who just don't know what to select. So what about you, Imanaga-san? How do you handle that?
I tend to accept everything at first, you know. If you filter too much and that becomes a habit, there's a possibility you'll end up rejecting everything. So even when something feels a bit off to me, I first try to take it in my own way, think it through, and then if it still doesn't feel right, that's fine. But giving it a chance and accepting it initially, that's actually one of my policies.
Got it. Thank you very much. That concludes our Q&A corner.
Thank you for listening, Shota Imanaga, SHOTAISM in 9 innings. Please be sure to tune in next time as well. This is Shota Imanaga.